Alright guys, good morning. Here we are at Kinetic Motor Works in Hampstead, waiting for Ryan the tuner to show up. They're going to put us on their chassis dyno inside here, so hopefully we can get answers to what's going on with our motor, see whereabouts we are with the power, see where our settings are. We think something's way off on the fuel setting, so we're hoping to figure that all out today. Not really sure what to expect. I've only been to the dyno once before, but we definitely want to get some answers before we tear these things apart, see where our fuel setting is. Like I told you, MLM Diagnostic gave us an Innovate gauge. That's working fine, so we'll be able to get some numbers. But now it's time to get this thing unloaded and wait for the tuner to show up and get this thing ready to go and see where we're at. So, see you in a bit. Alright, so he did 2 pulls on the dyno. It looks like our number's around 178, which is a little bit lower than it should be for horsepower wise. The lambda gauge, the way he's reading it, it looks like it's he thinks it's leaning out at the top end. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the top end pill, and so I'm going to go to a smaller pill, smaller hole, which will give us more fuel pressure at the top end. So that's what we're doing now. So the hole size is an 070, so we're looking for an 060. We're gonna go, you know, obviously throw a big jump at it too. There's gonna be a little hole. Right there? Okay. Can drop this in there. Okay, just put that in that hole.
So we have a Ford Z-Tech here running on straight methanol. Saw they had issues with the load, or with the fueling in the low end range. So we saw that here on the dyno graph. We got a nice dip in power right around 3,500 RPM, and then it really doesn't start to pick up until about 4,700. Is where we just peak torque. And then beyond that, obviously it makes pretty good power. We richened it up a little bit, and it made some smoother power up top, but we're going to try to lean it out a little bit down low and see if we can get rid of that stumble that's in the low end torque range.
So in the corners at the bigger tracks, Matt was saying that when he half throttles it, when he through the corner, he was losing, the motor was falling on its face. And on that last run especially, you could really see that in the middle, the motor was breaking down in the same RPM range that Matt was talking about. So we're leaning out the main fuel pressure, which shouldn't change the high speed very much, because the high speed is just pumping when it's up there. It's just maxing it out. So hopefully this will help them in the 3,000 to 5,000 RPM range, or 3 to 4. The other adjustment we could do is on the secondary, which is the bottom of the 3,000 RPM range. We could lean that out too. But let's just see what this does. This should make a world of difference here.
Yeah.
Once the thing is spinning, because it works off the bleed offs,
Yeah.
it really shouldn't affect the high end
Okay.
as much.
Even though it was significantly leaner, but it made almost no change.
Yeah.
So
Mid-range and high RPM.
Okay.
So we can change the timing in each of those things.
Yeah, so I think if we left it where it is in the low end for fueling, and then if you can richen it up a bit in the top end,
Yeah.
and then we can play with timing and stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind doing that in the future when you guys are ready.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Because this motor, this is a junkyard bottom end
Oh, okay.
that we threw in here. That we grandma's car with
okay, yeah.
30,000 miles. We blew up both of our good motors.
Yeah.
So we're going to put together one of the good motors back in with the dome pistons in
Nice.
it in a solid bottom end.
Yep. It was cool. It was a nice change of pace doing Subarus every day, but never actually had a car on here personally with 100% methanol. I know back in the Honda days there was plenty of that, but definitely feeling pretty good right now. So
the methanol fumes got you.
Yeah, glad I had my respirator on that last couple runs there because it was I was feeling pretty good that first run. So
yeah. So I'm very satisfied with today. Obviously, the old junkyard motor definitely is within where it needs to be horsepower-wise. We figured out some things at the low end, and some things at the high end. It's overall we were thinking maybe we were way too fat because we weren't getting temperature in the motor, and other people saying that we're way too lean. So it's a combination of both that we're we needed to lean up the bottom end a little bit to get the stumble out of it, and fatten up the top end. So we've got something to work on, and we didn't even play with the timing at all. So we definitely have a lot to work on, and I'm excited to roll into next year. So we'll get this thing all apart, get it redone, try to make it faster, and then we'll come back and see Ryan with the new motor and see if we can get it up to even more horsepower.
yeah, that'd be good.
Excellent. So today was Dyno Day at Kinetic Motor Works. We worked with Ryan, tuner here, made some changes, got a lot of good information. Ultimately, we definitely got to remember and to thank Mike Marshall of MLM Diagnostics, because the dynos, their sensor wouldn't stay in the exhaust, it spit it out. So we definitely were able to use the Innovate gauge, the Lambda gauge. So we got some really good information. We were able to match it up to where the motor was stumbling, to see that it was fat in those areas, but that it was lean at the top end. So I think I've already said that stuff, but guys, now it's time for us to get this thing apart. We've done all the research, everything, gathered all our data. It's time to start getting ready for next year. Power wise, we think we're going to be in good shape. We're going to bring it back here. These guys Ryan wants to tune it some more. He's going to do some more research and see what we can do to get it better. Jamie Rulo Racing, got to put a shock package together for us. He's working with QA1 and AFCO. We think we're probably going to go over to AFCO adjustable or whatever. Jamie's working on that. We've got Mike Marshall from MLM Diagnostics, who's going to help us tune the motor as well. Give us, Mike set us in the right direction here, and he'll continue to do that. So we got a lot of good people behind us. It's time to get this thing all apart and keep improving. We'll talk about some chassis changes we're going to make as far as to the car over the winter coming up soon. Guys, if you like the videos, subscribe to the Home Track channel so you can keep up to date with what we're doing over the winter. We're under Circle Track Adventures. Click like on them, and please share them with your friends, because why should you be the only one enjoying such quality content?
Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.